Hello and welcome. Today I am at Primitive Baptist Church in Cades Cove. Here's some history of the church. Primitive Baptist Church was first organized in 1827 and was the first church established in the Cove. Originally, the church was a branch of Wares Cove Church of Sevier County and was known as the Cades Cove arm of Wares Church. Eventually, the church separated from Wares Cove Church and changed its name to the Cades Cove Baptist Church. Initially, the church had no permanent structure for meetings since it was the first church established in the Cove. Church meetings were held at the homes of members until the fall of 1832, when a log building was constructed for the meetings and services. Shortly after, disagreement among members caused a split in the church. In 1839, 13 members left to start Missionary Baptist Church due to a disagreement over foreign mission work. To reflect the difference in opinion, Cades Cove Baptist Church assumed the name Primitive Baptist Church in 1841 and has gone by that name ever since. The churches in Cades Cove were not isolated in this conflict. Baptist churches all over the South were divided on the issues of mission work in the early 19th century. In 1887, after the split, members of the Primitive Baptist Church constructed the classic white frame building you see today to replace the original log meeting home. The church was built by hand, and the fingerprints of those that worked in the construction can be seen on the ceiling when inside the church. Running and maintaining the church required labor and perseverance, but this was a worthwhile endeavor for the residents of the Cove who were able to celebrate and affirm their faith. The church created community, upheld social responsibilities, and kept the families informed. Of the churches in the Cove, the Primitive Baptist Church maintained the most members and social influence. The church was a vital part of life for many residents, but during the Civil War, life in the Cove changed dramatically. The congregation ceased meeting, which was upsetting for residents and explained in church records by the statement, "We was Union people and the rebels was too strong here in Cades Cove." In the cemetery behind Primitive Baptist Church, you could find the grave of Russell Gregory, who was killed by Confederate soldiers from North Carolina. Although the Great Smoky Mountains National Park was officially established in 1934, members of the Primitive Baptist Church did not stop meeting at the church until the 1960s. After formally closing the church in the 1960s, the congregation continued to maintain the building and the cemetery until the 1970s through a special use permit. The church is often still used for religious events or ceremonies. The cemetery at Primitive Baptist Church is the oldest cemetery in the Cove, and descendants of early settlers such as the Olivers, Shields, and Cables are still being laid to rest in it today. The Primitive Baptist Church in Cades Cove has a long history. The Baptist denomination was first introduced to the area in 1825 by the first permanent settlers, John and Lucretia Oliver. Before building their own Baptist church, Cades Cove residents had to travel through the Smoky Mountains to attend services in other towns. These residents finally established the Cades Cove Baptist Church in 1827 so they would no longer need to travel to Sunday services. The congregation initially met in members' homes until a log building was constructed in 1832. After some time, there became division among the congregation based on two different interpretations of Scripture. One side believed that the Scripture allowed for missionary work while the other did not. As a result, the Cades Cove Baptist Church was split into two in 1841 to form the Missionary Baptist Church and the Primitive Baptist Church. The new Primitive Baptist Church had a small congregation and met in log structures until the existing white church was built and completed in 1887. The Cades Cove Primitive Baptist Church Cemetery is the oldest cemetery in Cades Cove. It has 323 visible graves, 293 of them are inscribed. You could find many of the prominent Cades Cove residents and early settlers in the cemetery, including John and Lucretia Oliver, Russell Gregory, Elder William Howe Oliver, and more. Descendants of the early settlers, such as the Olivers, Cables, and Shields, are still allowed to be buried in the cemetery today.